What is up, motherfuckers? Welcome to my channel. I'm not going to introduce myself because no one gives a fuck. So you know what? On with this review. The first fucking match. Ricardo Rodriguez versus Biggie Langston versus Zeb Coulter. Does anybody give a shit about this match? Fuck no! Nobody gives a fuck about this match. And I'll tell you, this was one of the weirdest ways to open up a Raw. Usually it's some kind of promo or something, but this match didn't do anything. Apparently last week on SmackDown, Teddy Long made this match, and whoever, like, since they're all represented with one of the guys that's going into Extreme Rules for the World Heavyweight Championship, whoever won got to choose the match, basically. Got to choose the match type. So the match itself, I mean, going into it, you're thinking, well, Biggie Langston's got this. Hands down, he's going to win this. But it was a pretty boring match, honestly. I mean, nothing really happened in it. Del Rio got involved into the match whenever you thought that Biggie Langston was going to pretty much just beat the shit out of Ricardo Rodriguez. So he came in, saved him. Then Ziggler ran in and threw Ziggler out. And then dumbass Swagger, man, I'm telling you, he grabbed Ziggler and he was trying to throw him the wrong fucking direction. There was people in the way and he looked that way and then he threw him out of the ring. He's a fucking dumbass. Just get rid of him. Just fucking get rid of Swagger. He's an idiot. The only, like, he can't speak, he can't do anything. That's why they have Zeb Coulter with him, because he can speak and he can get people, like, he can get some heat. But, I mean, really, people were chanting boring later on in his match. I mean, that just tells you something. Just get rid of him. Or at least just don't take him out of these main event pictures, please. But anyway, the match itself, right when it started to pick up, it ended. So I can't say much about this match. I mean, everybody got involved. AJ got involved in the match. And, but basically, Ricardo, he snuck and got a schoolboy pin on Zeb Coulter, and he won the match. So, and by the way, this crowd was fucking retarded. I don't know. They were rooting for Ricardo, and when he started getting his ass kicked, they started screaming, "USA! USA!" What? What the fuck? Fucking, I don't know, man. This crowd. You could tell they were a completely different crowd than the previous couple of Raws, because, you know, you had those, what do you call them, those hardcore wrestling fans that basically know who the real talent is in the business, you know. But you could tell there was a bunch of grannies in the fucking crowd, and, you know. But then the next segment we have was a World Wish Day. And, you know, this was a good, you know, it's all a good cause, all this is. But I don't know, this kid, he had half a heart. And his one wish was to meet John Cena. And of course he met John Cena. God forbid if that was your only wish, goddamn kid. But he got to be on Raw with a couple other kids. And the crowd, you know, they basically had to cheer, because that was like the one time you hear John Cena's music play and everybody's, you know, yay! You don't hear any boos. But the thing is, though, is I think John Cena thought they were for him, because that's the problem with this segment. I fucking hate John Cena. They could have used anybody else. They could have used the Big Show. Turn him face, let him do that stuff. But fuck! He ruins any fucking segment. John Cena, he just fucking ruins anything. He can ruin anything. I mean, it was for these kids, man, these sick kids, and I'm still sitting there thinking, God damn, I hate this son of a bitch. That's what I was sitting there thinking the whole fucking time. But man, what pissed me off, though, is when they were cheering, John Cena had a fucking look on his face where he was like, that's for me. They're cheering for me. I just had a feeling. I don't know. He just seems like one of those guys that would just somehow, when the fucking crowd or some kind of attention's on something else, he'd find some way to think it's towards him. And let's face it, when was the last time that John Cena ever got fully cheered? That was like 06, 05. whenever, maybe never, I don't know. Man, I can't even remember this shit anymore because John Cena's so fucking stale. I hate anything he does. He could find the cure for fucking cancer. I don't give a fuck. I'd still hate him. You know, it'd be awesome. It's like, oh yeah, that's awesome. You found that out, but I still fucking hate you. But anyway, enough about that. But anyway, the next match was Orton versus Cody Rhodes. This was a decent match. I wish they would do more with Cody Rhodes because I swear, WWE, man, they just fucking find some way to shit on the real talent. You had a tag team with Cody Rhodes and Damien Sandow. What did they do? They shit on them. They could have been the tag team champions. They just got through to the side. You know, Damien Sandow, he's an awesome speaker. He can get the heat, and he's good. You know, he's pretty good in the ring too, and he's got a good look. And Cody Rhodes, he's really talented in the ring. But of course, I'm pretty sure that they broke that tag team up. I'm not sure. They didn't say anything about that tonight, but just a shitty way to do that. But Cody Rhodes, he's still really good. And Randy Orton, I don't understand why people still like this motherfucker. I don't get it. Why the fuck do they still like him? He's not had a fucking real storyline in like 5 years or something. You know? He's not had a real, like, ever since they turned him face, he's not had shit to do. He just goes out there and he's boring. Like, that's the problem with him. He's just fucking boring, man. He just bores the shit out of me. He just comes out there and does his little thing where he acts like a fucking snake, and he just bores the fuck out of a lot of us, really. I know a lot of people, I've watched a lot of videos, and I know a lot of guys do not like him. And I'm not saying he's not talented. Yeah, he's talented in the ring, but his character fucking blows. Turn him back into a heel or something. The last thing I remember that he did that was good was against Triple H at like WrestleMania 25. And that was the character, not the match. That match sucked ass, but, you know, the story going into it. But anyway, the match was pretty good. It was a pretty long match. Went back and forth, a lot of good counters. Randy Orton, of course, he got the win. Cody Rhodes went for the springboard kick that he usually does, and you could tell it was coming because he just lunged himself. He just lunged himself, and you knew, it was like, well, before the camera even changed, you knew Randy Orton was getting the RKO on him. But I mean, it still looked really good, and the match was pretty entertaining. Next, we have a Divas match. Don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck. I can't even remember who was in that. Next match. Oh, I'm sorry, it was a promo, Shield promo. Shield came out, basically talked about who all they've defeated. They took out the Dead Man. They talked about who all they've defeated. Nobody, you know, can defeat the Shield. And then, out of fucking nowhere, three-man band come out. Three-man band. These fucking nobodies. I don't even think they got a fucking win to their name. So anyway, they come out. Talk about how they challenge the Shield. They get in the ring, get their fucking asses kicked, and then Team Hell No come out. The Shield run, and we basically knew this was going to happen. That sets up for a match later. Next we have Ziggler versus... Yeah, what am I saying? I'm not that drunk, I promise. Ziggler versus Kofi. There we go. Kofi Kingston. Good match. My problem with this is Kofi Kingston, man. He can wrestle. They just need to do something with him. He just does not have a character at all, man. He's just fucking boring. They need to do something with him. I mean, goddamn. I mean, he's been there for so long, and I mean, he can amaze you with some of the shit that he can do, but he's dull. Just very dull. He needs to turn heel or just kind of like do something. I don't know. Because people are getting bored with him. They were chanting Ziggler that whole match. They didn't give a fuck if Kofi won. They were just like chanting for Ziggler. And of course they knew Ziggler was going to win. I mean, who didn't? You'd have to be a fucking idiot if you didn't think so. But overall, really good match. The ending was a little fucked up though. Kofi Kingston, I swear it looked like something you'd see in one of those fucking wrestling video games. He got on the top rope and he jumped, and I swear they tried to make it sound like Ziggler moved out of the way, but I swear I believe he moved out of the way before he even got on the top rope. And I think he just got so excited he just jumped like a dumbass and just hurt himself, and then that was basically it. It reminded me of something from those video games where you'll just get on the top of the turnbuckle and the AI will just jump the wrong damn direction. Anyway, pretty good match. Next we have Jack Swagger versus Zack Ryder. And who gave a fuck about this match? Nobody likes Swagger. He's boring. He don't have the intensity. He tries to get in there and just go. He goes, ah, ah, and that's not intense. That's not intensity. I'm sorry. I know you think that's intensity, but it's not. Ah, fuck that, man. And Ryder, I never was behind this guy ever. Back when people were cheering for this guy, I never got behind him because he's a fucking idiot. I know he had that YouTube show, and basically all WWE did was, they're like, hey, we need to take that idea. We should let him know that we care. We should just kind of smooth talk him, get him in on some bigger matches, and then we'll just take the YouTube thing out from under him, and that's basically what they did. But I never cared about him anyway. Anyway, boring match. Who'd you think was going to win it? Swagger. Predictable. Predictable as hell. Next we have Mark Henry talking about being the world's strongest man, and I think he was in a gauntlet match, I think last SmackDown or something. I think he was. But he's been doing this thing where he's trying to prove everybody he's the best, but he had like a tug of war match, and he had it with Tensai first, and then, you know, he beat him, and then he went against Brodus Clay, beat him, and then of course we knew it was going to come. Sheamus comes out, and it's a tie. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. That should not have happened. I am not behind Sheamus at all. I'll just tell you that right now. Ever since he turned face, he's became dull. But I mean, just the fact that they had him like basically right over the red line in that match, and it's supposed to be like some kind of, it looks like something heroic or something epic. It's just, I don't know, it did not work. But still, neither one of them won. He lost his balance. That was what was stupid. Mark Henry lost his balance, so I guess it was a tie. And then Sheamus bro kicked him, and that was basically it. Nothing really at all. And then we have Del Rio versus Cesaro. And what the fuck happened to Cesaro, man? This guy used to win every fucking match. And when I first seen him, when he came to WWE, I didn't give a fuck about him. I just seen him, and you know, he just does not have a look that I was like, well, that's kind of dull. He doesn't really have a look or no gimmick or nothing. He just goes in there and does whatever. But after I seen him wrestle for a while, I turned into a believer of him. I think he's one of the best that the WWE has. I think he is one of the best because he can come up with some of the craziest counters that you will ever see. I mean, man, he's had some great matches. Like most of the best matches of the last 2 years, of this year and last year, is him. Like, he's had some of the best matches. And ever since he lost the title, his U.S. title, he fucking yodels, he fucking loses. He don't even get fucking entrance music or anything now, or even an entrance. He's already in the fucking ring, so what the fuck happened? I don't know. WWE needs to get their shit together and learn how to work with real talent. Not saying Del Rio's bad, but, okay. Del Rio, I mean, overall the match was good. I mean, this was probably the best match of the night. But of course, we knew who was going to win, Del Rio. I mean, he's got a title, you know, a title shot here coming up in like 3 weeks. So, just a predictable show, man. Just a fucking predictable show. But, so anyway, I can't remember how it ends up. I can't remember. I think he gets in the armbar. I think he gets in the armbar. He beats him. But I mean, it is a long match. There's a lot of good, you know, back and forth going on between both of them. And of course, Antonio Cesaro being great, he's just always finding ways to counter weird moves. Like that's what I like about him. He'll just find weird ways to counter moves that you don't see. But after the match, Del Rio says that he picks his. You know, where earlier that night, what was his name again? I can't even remember. Ricardo. See, I don't even keep up with these guys' names, man, anymore. But Ricardo, Ricardo won the match, so of course Del Rio gets to pick the match. He picks ladder. Picks the fucking ladder match. So, you know, that might be a good match. Next we have Fandango versus Khali in a dance-off. Who gives a fuck? And of course, Fandango, everybody being all about him. Fandango, oh, he's so fucking awesome. No. The fucking crowd made Fandango the night after WrestleMania. That's what the fuck happened. They were just being goofs. They didn't give a fuck about the matches that was going on. So they were so bored, they just started chanting shit. And that's what this came to be. And that's what this is going to end up being. Like, people are going to get sick of it. I think they're already getting sick of it because you already hear people just booing and you don't hear as many people just doing that stupid ass song. So, I mean, it's just going to be a flash in the pan, really. I mean, it's going to be gone here soon. At least I hope so. Anyway, they have a fucking dance-off. And Khali, man, a guy that can barely even fucking move because he's so fucking tall and shit. And of course, the crowd, where they're more family-oriented this time, they pick him. I mean, of course, they pick Khali just because it's a biased fucking crowd. But it don't matter, man. I mean, it's bullshit anyway. I mean, who give a fuck about a dance-off? And Fandango, there's no reason to even like him. I mean, he's not even had a great match yet, and people are already like just going crazy about him. But like I said, it'll be over. It's just a fad. He'll be done here soon unless he can actually prove that he's good. But I just can't see that character ever getting fully over. And the last match of the night is Cena and Team Hell No versus The Shield. Now, this was a really good match. By the way, I didn't talk about any of the backstage shit because nobody cares, but I mean, I will say this. Going into the match, it was supposed to be John Cena and Ryback versus The Shield, but then Cena was hurt because he actually really got injured. He hurt his leg. So then it was supposed to be Ryback and Team Hell No, and Ryback said that he was tired of depending on John Cena or anybody else. So he left the building. So then it was Team Hell No, and they thought it was going to be a handicap match. But John Cena still agreed to do it, and that's basically it. That's why I didn't tell any of the backstage shit. I mean, it don't really matter. But anyway, the match was good. Went back and forth. Most of it was Kane, honestly, though. I mean, he dominated. And it actually told a pretty good story with Kane because, you know, where they injured The Undertaker on SmackDown. And he really just kicked some ass, man. He kicked some fucking ass. John Cena got in there, and when he was in there, he got hurt. When he did a kick, he hurt his foot, so of course he had to tag right back in. And everybody did a good job. Really good match. The Shield, they're like one of the best things going on in the WWE right now. Most of the time it's just stale, but they're like the only thing that I actually listen to. Even if their promos aren't superb right now, but you know, they're getting better. They're trying to find their places. That's what it is. They're trying to find their characters. They're trying to find their places. And they'll just keep getting better. I mean, their wrestler ability is already great. I mean, back at TLC last year was one of the best matches of that year. And it was the last pay-per-view of 2012. So, but you know, overall, this Raw, it was forgettable. Really, really forgettable. I mean, there was a few good matches, but I'll be honest with you, I won't remember them. I mean, I could probably watch them on YouTube later, but I'll be like, oh, that was pretty good, but then I'll instantly forget it. But yeah, that I don't know what I'd rate this. I'm not gonna rate this. Fuck a rating system. I usually rate shit with beer because I'm drinking Miller, not a good beer. But Raw anymore does not deserve a good. Even a fucking basic beer, it does not deserve that. I'd give it like a fucking Steel Reserve or something. I don't know. Now, there's a few entertaining things, but it's just Raw, man. It just forgettable as always. But anyway, that's my Raw review. Pretty forgettable. I don't recommend watching this at all on YouTube. Just pretty shitty show. I'll try to get in on the TNA reviews and the SmackDown reviews as well. So hope you guys enjoy these. I'll be doing some probably just discussion, all wrestling discussions, even like DVD. I got like a DVD collection. I'll probably show those off, maybe review those. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this channel, and I'll see you guys next time.